He has very good research experience and actively participated in multidisciplinary research in various research groups such as social sciences, management sciences, medical sciences, agricultural sciences, and many more sciences. His publications, he has published 24 research papers in very reputed journals such as Current Science, Chronobiology International, Journal of Cardiac Rhythms. He has participated in various international and national conferences, workshops, and seminars. Along with this, he worked as resource person for more than 20 conferences, workshops, and seminars. Notably, most highlighting point of his CV is he has helped more than 40 researchers to pursue their PhD in various fields. Okay, so today we have got such a renowned personality with us. I hope, sir, our audience will be overwhelmed after hearing your lecture. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you see my slide? Can you?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. Okay. You are audible and screen is okay.
Okay, very good, very good. So good afternoon, everybody. I am very much thankful to Sant Gadge Baba Mahavidyalaya, Karad, Honorable Principal, Honorable Head of the Department of Statistics. They have invited me to deliver a talk on this faculty development program under the aegis of Savitribai Phule Pune University, Pune. Dr. Dowry Madam asked me to deliver a session on designing of questionnaire. And so my today's discussion will be on designing of questionnaire. So first of all, we must try to understand that statistics is the science where we have to start with the data. Without the data, there is no statistics.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Please make your PPT full.
Okay, okay. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So statistics is the science where data is the very, very important part. Unless and until there is data, we cannot go for anything else. So data is very important. Then question comes how to collect the data. So for data collection in different sciences, in different fields, there are different instruments. For example, in case of meteorology, weather station is there, and that weather station captures the real-time data on different various weather parameters. In medical science, there are different instruments, there are different equipments to capture the data. So different sciences have different instruments to collect the data. Particularly in case of social sciences, in case of management sciences, in case of market research, media research, data is collected from the public as such, from different individuals who are scattered over the different corners of the city or any location. So for such an environment, data is collected through a questionnaire. And that questionnaire is treated as a data collection instrument, and it is very popular. It is most common. It is widely used in social sciences, in media research, in market research, in management sciences, and of course, many other fields. Among those who are from commerce or management science might have used questionnaire as a data collection instrument for their PhD work. And that might have also be appended in your thesis in the appendix also. I think I am sure. Okay, so this is the preface of data collection instruments, a questionnaire. Now, one thing we have to remember that we have to apply, we have to implement, we have to collect the data through questionnaire from the peoples from different sections, peoples from different corners of the location. These peoples may have different socio-economic background. These peoples may have different educational background. These peoples may have different thought process. And that is why our questionnaire should be such that these people should be able to understand and they should get motivated to reply the questionnaire. That is the very important thing we have to remember, because questionnaire is not a question paper as we give to the students, and students take the question paper, they have answer paper, and they go on writing the answer for different questions. It is not a question paper. It is not mandatory to the people who are going to uh, questionnaire is given and they are expected to fill up. They may accept your questionnaire, but they may not fill it. They may fill it partially, or they may fill it wrongly. So variety of possibilities are there. And under such a situation, collecting the proper data, collecting the correct data, collecting the appropriate data, collecting the relevant data is very important. And for that purpose, the research person who is going to develop the questionnaire has a great responsibility of developing a question. So how to develop the questionnaire? So first of all, how to develop the questionnaire, and for that purpose, what are the different important parameters one should think about the questionnaire? Number one, questionnaire should be reliable. This is the property of questionnaire. This should be the characteristic of your questionnaire. Questionnaire should be reliable. There must be a reliability of questionnaire, reliability coefficient that we talk about. Then validity of the questionnaire, objectivity of the questionnaire. And there are still many more, but I'm going to talk these three first. Reliability of a questionnaire, validity of the questionnaire, objectivity of the questionnaire. These are the three main properties of the questionnaire that we have to study. Of course, sometimes we may skip this, but studying these three properties is very important when we go for developing a questionnaire for large masses, for a big sample size. When we wish to implement this questionnaire, we must be able to assure a certain reliability, validity, and objectivity. Now let us see how to go for each. Steps for validity. Now validity means what? I have a questionnaire with 25 questions. I have a questionnaire with 100 questions. I have to assure that the topic of my research, the topic for which I am going to collecting this information, with respect to that topic, my questions are valid, my questions are relevant, my questions are appropriate. We have to assure it. And that is why we have to check the validity of our question. Now, how to do this? How to do this? The first step is, of course, we go for literature review. Literature review will give us certain kind of guidelines, certain kind of idea, certain directives by which we can focus on our topic. Literature review, along with certain subject domain knowledge, will also be useful for preparing the rough draft of our question. So this is number one. Number two, what we should do, we should not go immediately for the questions. Remember this. We should not directly write down the questions. Then what we should do? We should prepare exhaustive list of all possible atoms that might be included in your questionnaire. So this is number one. Very important step. Prepare the exhaustive list of all possible atoms that may be possibly included in the question. So we have to list the topics, points, atoms on which we are going to develop the questions one by one. Then we have to edit these atoms. We have to do pre-selection of these atoms, and we have to make the exhaustive list of such atoms. This is a very important step to study the validity of a question. What next step is that is important? We will identify 10 or 15 or 20 number of experts in that field. We are not going to identify the respondents. We are going to identify the experts from the same domain, from same subject expert. And to these experts, to these 10 experts, to these 15 experts, we will give this list. And we will ask them that use your experience, use your knowledge, try to understand my topic of the research, and you are supposed to judge my atoms, list of atoms. My first atom, if you feel with respect to my title, this is the important, relevant, then give the credit, then give the rating as 3 for most relevant atom, 2 for relevant atom, 1 for least relevant atom, and 0 for not relevant atom. See what happens when we start developing a questionnaire, we feel that many more atoms are very important. And so we are going on adding questions or atoms, and that questionnaire becomes a very bulky. It may become a very long enough. And there is a possibility of maybe repetition. There is a possibility of irrelevant questions. So in order to drop this, we have to take the help of experts. And with the help of experts, after giving them the list of atoms and asking them to give the credit as 3 for most relevant, 2 for relevant, 1 for least relevant, and 0 for not relevant. We will collect all these 10, 15 lists from the experts once again. And thereafter, we will prepare a table like this. See here, 1 to 10, 1 to 100, 1 to 15. These are the different these are the different atoms. My list of atoms may have 100, 200, 300, 400 atoms. That means possibly in future 400 questions. Maybe those may not be important. So these are the atom 1, atom 2, atom 3, atom 4, and like this, atom 100. Now here, there are judges, judge 1, judge 2, judge 3, judge 4, judge 5, judge 25. Maybe judge 10, maybe judge 15, maybe judge 20. It depends upon how many experts you will reach for that topic. Now atom 1, according to judge 1, it is not relevant, 0 mark. According to judge 2, atom 1, least important, 1 mark. According to judge 3, atom is not important, not important, not important, important, and so on. So like this, we are going to give the marks or rating to these first atoms given by different judges. And on the basis of this, we'll find out here average score. The same we'll do for atom 2. The ratings given by judge 1, judge 2, judge 3, judge 4, judge 25 for atom number 2. We'll write down this. We'll prepare a table like this. Find out the average scaling. Similarly for atom 3, atom 4, atom 5, atom 100. And we will find here average rating, average score for all atoms that we have included in our possible list. Once we do this, then how to select the atom is very important. Now, once we say that average, this average may be 0.1 because it will range from 0 to 3. Why? Because not relevant will carry 0 marks, Most relevant will carry 3 marks, and therefore average will range from 0 to 3. So that is why among this average, we have to select those atoms. We have to select those atoms whose average scale is greater than 2. Whose average scale is greater than 2. That means we'll go to this last column and we will select only those atoms whose average score is greater than 2. So those atoms, according to your judges, are most important or relevant, and those atoms must be included in your questionnaire. The rest atoms may be dropped, they may be discarded, they may be omitted, and by this way, two things are going to happen. Number one, your list of atoms is going to become a smaller enough, moderate enough, manageable enough. And second thing, your list of atoms will carry only those atoms, those are valid with respect to the topic of your research. So this is the process of validity of a questionnaire. Very simple process, very simple process. Instead of going directly to development of questions, let us go by making the list of atoms, topics, concepts, and ask them to the judges, give their rating, prepare a table like this, prepare the average score, and if average score is greater than 2, then you treat that atom as a valid atom, relevant atom, most important atom. Other atoms should be discarded, omitted. This is the first property, validity. I hope that you have understood this because I am as lucid as I can. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we'll go for reliability of the questionnaire. Reliability of the questionnaire. See here, to begin with, before consulting to any expert, I have a list of atoms that contains maybe hundreds of atom points. After approaching to experts and after performing the validity study, my list of atoms may be reduced to say 50%, 40%, 60%. So I will concentrate only on valid atoms. Now, on the basis of these valid atoms, we will convert that valid atom in terms of a questionnaire. Question. So there will be a question for each atom. There will be a question for each atom. So like this, as many atoms are there, as many questions will be there. These questions may be multiple choice questions, MCQ type questions, or objective questions. Because in developing questionnaire, we must take care that respondent should have list writing and they should just give the tick marks so that in minimum time they will give you a valid and relevant response. If you ask them open-end questions, then I hope they will deny to write the essay. They will deny to write the few lines. But if the questions are objective type, multiple choice question type, true or false type, Likert scale type, then putting the tick mark is easier for them and we will get the response. So close-ended questions are expected to be maximum in the question. Okay, so this is the second step. In the second step, on the basis of valid data, so valid atoms, we have prepared the questionnaire, a trial questionnaire. Now what we will do is, reliability means it is a test, retest. Test, retest method. See what we should do. This questionnaire, again we will give to a small group of experts, a small group of maybe 10 or 15. Now, is this group and earlier group same? Maybe, or maybe different. Maybe, or maybe different. So we'll give this questionnaire to a small group of experts or judges. And we will ask them to give the tick marks, or we'll ask them to fill up this questionnaire. So they will put the tick mark, they will complete the questionnaire, and it will return to us. So at the end, we will get a score that how many of them have given the correct questions. On the basis of that, we will prepare their score. Okay. So this is the first step. After that, we will wait for 10 days, 15 days, maybe 1 month. And after 1 month, to the same expert group, we will give the same questionnaire. See, try to understand this. It is a test, retest procedure. It is just like a paired t-test. After 1 month, means after a sufficient gap, we will give the same questionnaire to same respondents. And we will ask them to again fill up the questionnaire and give the response. Same question. We will give a gap of 1 month. Why a gap of 1 month? Because we will give them a sufficient time to forget the earlier questionnaire. And they will give you the response as if they are filling for the first time. So second time also, we will count their correct score of answer. So we have, say, 2 data points. Number 1, score before 1 month and score after 1 month by a group of experts. So I think this is a bivariate type of data. X, Y. X score before 1 month and Y after 1 month. And possibly, if we have a bivariate data, if we have a numeric data, the best way is we can go for correlation because it is a bivariate data. If we find out the correlation coefficient, and if this correlation coefficient comes to be 0.8 or more than 0.8, 80% or more than 80%, then that questionnaire is regarded as a reliable questionnaire. So see here, reliability study means people are giving the similar kind of response earlier also and after 1 month also. So questionnaire has no vagueness. Questionnaire is creating the reliability and respondents are giving the reliable response through our questionnaire. This is the second property, reliability. Any doubt up to this? I have discussed about validity. I have discussed about reliability. I think instead of asking question at the end, you may interrupt me and you may ask me the question so that doubts may be get clear in the meanwhile itself. Okay? Okay. Shall I proceed further? Objectivity of the atom. This is the third property, objectivity. There are simple criteria for objectivity, and that criteria is number 1, the options must be unambiguous. Options must have unique meaning, and options must be non-overlapping. These are the 3 properties with respect to objectivity. For example, suppose I am collecting the data on income. Now see, income is a particularly a most important feature in the socio-economic study. Most important feature. But people, on an average, they are reluctant to tell their income. This fact also we have to remember. So on one side, collecting the data on income is very important. That is necessary. On other side, People are reluctant to give the information about income. This is also another thing. So we have to make the compromise of these two. And for that purpose, what we'll do, we will prepare the what we call as options. For example, option A, less than 10,000 rupees. This is my first option, say A. Income less than 10,000 rupees, say for example, per month. Now, second one is, suppose 10,001 to say 25,000. Third, say 20,000 to 50,000. Like this. Now see, first is less than 10,000. It's okay. Second one is 10,000 to 10,001 to 25,000. This range is also okay. Third one is 20,000 to 50,000. This is the third one. But in the second and third option, there is a overlapping. A person having income 24,000, a person having income 21,000, 23,000, 22,000 will fall in second group also and will fall in third group also. So he may have a doubt. So in that case, what are the possibilities? See, a person like me may put myself tick mark in both the classes, or I may not put tick mark anywhere else, or I may put a tick mark in one or second or third. So four possibilities are there. So this is going to create ambiguity. This overlapping of options will create ambiguity. So we have to avoid such a kind of ambiguity. For example, if we have options like this, say 0 to 10, then say 11 to 20, then say 25 to 30, like this. Then no doubt a person with a response 0 to 10 will definitely put his response here. A person with response 11 to 20 will put a tick mark here. But where is the room for a person with response 21, 22, 23, 24? There is no room. There is no provision. So there is again an ambiguity. People will ask the question, or people will leave this question unreplied, unanswered. Such a question may create an error that is called as non-response type of error. So objectivity means what? Your options should not have any kind of ambiguity. Your question should have a unique meaning, and that unique meaning should be drawn by all respondents at under different conditions. Your option should be non-overlapping, and if the options are this type, then it is called as a good objectivity oriented options. Okay. Then important question comes, how to develop a sample size, how to design, how to decide the sample size. Particularly in social sciences, how to design, how to create, how to define a sample size is a very important question. Why? Because in social sciences, the population is very huge. We have a very big number of population. Out of them, what should be the sample size? And so, let me give in brief what are the concerns about sample size. The first concern is about the precision or accuracy level of results. So our results should be precise. Our results should have a minimum expected level of accuracy. The third is, it is a concern with respect to implementation and with respect to management of questionnaire. That is required time, required cost, and required resources. These are important. If I decide my sample size is 100, if someone else decides his sample size is 1000, definitely 100 requires a less time, 1000 requires more time. 100 requires less cost, 1000 requires more cost. 100 requires less resources, 1000 requires more resources. So sample size is a very important thing. Time, cost, and resources are directly proportional to sample size. And that is why we have to take a proper care of judging the sample size. Again, I already told you, with the help of questionnaire, we are reaching to the peoples from the society of different variety. They have different socioeconomic culture, socioeconomic background, educational background, and so there is a possibility of total non-response or partial non-response. We have to decide the sample size in such a way that the rate of non-response will reduce and we will get a good sizable response. The second one is to reduce the rate of wrong or incorrect response. And last one is to give proper representation to all groups. These are the important points we have to remember while deciding the sample size. So I will show you now a table. This is not a table generated by me. Here I have quoted a reference by this scientist from this research paper, determining sample size for research activities. And this is a paper from Educational and Psychological Measurements published in 1970. So long back, maybe nearly 50 years back, determining the sample size. So there are two columns. The first column is population size here. The second column is with respect to that population size, what should be the sample size? So similarly, population size, sample size, population size, sample size, population size, sample size, population size, sample size. I have started with population size 10, sample size, of course, 10. Sample population size 40, sample size 36. Population size 100, sample size 80. Population size 200, sample size 127. Population size 300, sample size 169. Population size 400, sample size 196. Population size 500, sample size 217. Population size 900, sample size is 269. Like this, if population size is 10,000, sample size is 373. Population size is 50,000, sample size is 381. Population size is 1 lakh, sample size is 384. So if you plot the graph on x-axis population size and on y-axis sample size, you will see that in the beginning, population size and sample size shows that sample size is sufficiently large. For example, 100 population size, 80 sample size. But after some time, sample size is going to become a stable. See here, 331, 335, 338, 341, 346, 351, like this. So you will see that you are going from 3,000 to 1 lakh. Your population size is ranging from 3,000 to 1 lakh, but your sample size is ranging from 341 to 384. So your sample size is going to remain as good as constant. What it means is that whatever your population is large enough, do not think of a high size sample size. Try to have a moderate sample size. Because see, for example, here population size is 1 lakh. And if I take a sample of say 1,000, definitely it will be thrice of this, 3 times of this. So it is going to increase my cost 3 times, time 3 times, resources 3 times. It may incorporate more errors and whatever the problems will come in. But if we use this scientific table And with the help of this scientific table, we decide our sample size. I think this will be a optimal sample size. This is the most appropriate sample size suggested by Morgan, Robert, Krejci, and Darley in their research paper published in 1970 in the journal Educational and Psychological Measurement. If you see the title itself is a very self-explanatory, determining sample size for research activities. So this is again a very important concept consideration in surveys in social sciences. Now the one more point I am going to discuss is, while conducting the survey through questionnaire, what are the sampling experiences we receive? In my introduction, the respected sir have introduced that I have helped 40 researchers in different fields. So out of them, I got various experiences, and these are the real life experiences I am quoting here. Number one, of course, many of you have also come up with these experiences. Number one, women are in general reluctant to give information. If the study is particularly to women's, your title is about women's, then women themselves are in general reluctant to give information. This is a social problem. And so we have to make them properly aware. We have to take them in confidence, and we have to give them a assurance that this information will be kept confidential and will not be leaked anywhere else. But still, in many cases, women are in general reluctant to give information. The second thing, delay in response. I told you, it is not a question paper. And so if we approach to any person, he may ask you that keep your questionnaire with me and come back after 2-3 days. We go after 2-3 days, then he says that sorry, I have not a time. I was busy in my office work, and so I could not fill up this. Please give me 2-3 days more. And this is how it takes a delay. In such a cases, we have to make a regular follow-up. We have to phone them, we have to meet them, we have to request them. So we have to make a regular follow-up. So this is the sampling experience. Tendency towards, this is very important, towards non-response to sensible atoms. Maybe there are some sensible atoms, and to such a sensible atoms, people are in general reluctant to give the information. I will tell you my personal experience with respect to this fourth point. In my city, there is a one renowned doctor, and nearly about 15 years back, when there was quite high discussion and hot discussion on HIV. In those period, that doctor was interested to make a state level survey about the HIV awareness, only awareness, and prepare a draft of that survey and submit it to the government. This was his ambitious plan. So he prepared one questionnaire, and his plan was to collect the data from 1 lakh respondents from the state as a whole. Good ambitious plan. So we sat together, we had a discussion, and we modified that questionnaire. We tried to incorporate reliability, validity, objectivity in that questionnaire. And through different resources, we tried to distribute these questionnaires in the different districts of the Maharashtra state. And then we thought that if we get the response, say about 50,000 questionnaire, 60,000 questionnaire, 80,000 questionnaire, how to enter this data? So we have developed a small software. On back end, there is a Microsoft Access, and on front end, Visual Basic entry screen. We have developed this questionnaire, and we were expecting the questionnaire from different parts of the state. 15 days gone, 1 month gone, 2 months gone, nearly 3 months gone. And at the end of 3 months, we receive nearly 100 questions. After distributing 1 lakh questionnaire, we come up with just 100 questions. And after 3 months, of course, there is no point in waiting for another response. So we sat together and we discussed that what is the reason of getting a non-response. And we concluded that HIV is a very sensible, is a very personalized issue, and people feel not ready to give the response. So non-response to sensible atoms is a very common factor in our society. Tendency towards giving response without thought, because just we have to put tick mark. And so these tick marks may be not a proper thought process. So this is the general tendency. And because of that, we get a response, but that may not be relevant with respect to that respondent, with respect to the domain, with respect to the environment, that may not be relevant. And so we come up with a wrong response. People will ask number of questions, number of queries before giving the response. And so we have to justify them. We have to satisfy them with respect to their queries and doubts. And that may be sometimes intolerable to us. But that is a sampling experience experienced by many people. Last point, male participation on behalf of female. We are interested to collect the data from female because our topic is like that. And if we go to the respondent, then instead of the woman from that family, the male comes forward and he tries to give the response. So male participation in the survey on behalf of female is another sampling experience we are receiving. So friends, this is what a small lecture I have to deliver on questionnaire as such. I think I have given you not too much, but to what I want to explain you, I have explained you. If you have any doubts, if you have any questions, please ask me. Thank you very much.
One of our participant has raised hand, Rasik.
Yes, please.
You can ask.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Sir, there is a structured questionnaire and unstructured questionnaire. So can you write on that? Structured, unstructured.
Yes. There are different types of questions. In fact,
Okay.
structure is a broader class. Unstructured is a, these are two broad classes. And among the structure and unstructured, there are different types of questions. Since I have only 1 hour, 2 to 3, I have not taken these points in the consideration. Only those important points, because structured and unstructured one can go by reading the book. But how to test the reliability, how to test the validity, I think it is not given in the books, and I have given the focus on this. But you, as you said, it is okay that there are different types of questionnaire, and depending upon the survey, you think which type of question you should go for. It's okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. If there are no further questions, I will express vote of thanks. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Kasture, sir. Statistical thinking will one day be necessary qualification for efficient citizens as the ability to read and write. That was said by H.G. Wells, a renowned writer. Wherever there are questions, there will be research. Sir has guided us on designing of questionnaire on behalf of Rai Shikshan Samstha and Sadhguru Gadge Maharaj College, Karad. I thank you for your stupendous lecture, sir. I also thank participants for joining for this session. I am grateful to organizing committee who give an opportunity to me to introduce today's guest and express vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Patil ma'am.